Have you ever pondered about how our world has transformed from the prehistoric era to the birth of Christ? Let's take a journey back in time, starting with the Paleolithic period, which began some 2.6 million years ago and stretched until 10,000 BC. This was an era when early humans were still hunter-gatherers, living a nomadic lifestyle, using simple stone tools, and developing the earliest forms of artistic expression. As we move forward in time, we reach the Mesolithic period from 10,000 BC to 8,000 BC. During this era, humans began to develop more sophisticated stone tools, and they started to settle in small communities, marking the transition from a nomadic lifestyle to a more sedentary one. Next, we enter the Neolithic period, starting from 8,000 BC to 3,500 BC. This period saw significant advancements in human civilization. We began to live in permanent settlements, developed agriculture, and saw the advent of pottery and weaving. Now, let's leap into the age of the ancient civilizations. Around 3,500 BC, the Sumerians emerged in Mesopotamia. They're recognized as one of the earliest civilizations in history, developing writing systems, legal codes, and even city-states. One of their legendary kings, Gilgamesh, is still celebrated in tales and epics. A few centuries later, around 3100 BC, another great civilization came into being, ancient Egypt. This civilization gifted us with the awe-inspiring pyramids, sophisticated hieroglyphics, and incredible medical knowledge. Notable rulers from this era include Menes, also known as Narmer, who is often credited as the first pharaoh of Egypt, and Khufu, the pharaoh who commissioned the Great Pyramid of Giza. Parallel to this, on the Indian subcontinent, the Indus Valley civilization flourished from 3300 BC to 1300 BC. While we don't know any specific rulers from this civilization, cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa were at their zenith. Finally, around 2100 BC, ancient China began to rise, with dynasties like the Shang and Zhou leaving their mark on history with their unique art, literature, and philosophy. So, from roaming hunter-gatherers, we evolved into organized societies with kings and queens, but the wheel of time didn't stop there. As we moved away from the ancient civilizations, a classic era dawned upon us. The classical period, spanning roughly from the 8th century BC to the 5th century AD, was marked by the rise and fall of two notable civilizations, ancient Greece and the Roman Republic and Empire. Ancient Greece, a dazzling mosaic of city-states, was a cradle of Western civilization, birthing democracy, philosophy, and theater. Among these city-states, Athens and Sparta were prominent. In Athens, statesmen like Solon and Pericles became notable figures, fostering the city's intellectual and artistic life. Meanwhile, in Sparta, the legendary lawgiver Lycurgus established a militaristic society. Yet it was Macedon that produced one of history's most famous figures, Alexander the Great. Under the rule of his father, Philip II, and later his own, Alexander forged a vast empire that spanned 3 continents. His conquests spread Greek culture far and wide, ushering in the Hellenistic period. Parallel to the Greek civilization, the Roman Republic emerged in the Italian peninsula. Its transition into an empire, however, was marked by power struggles and civil wars. Among the key figures were Julius Caesar, a military general who became a dictator, and his adopted heir, Augustus Caesar, who established the Roman Empire and brought about a period of peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana. Meanwhile, in the Near East, the Persian Empire rose to prominence, stretching from Egypt to India at its peak. The empire was known for its tolerance of diverse cultures and efficient administration under rulers like Cyrus the Great, Darius I, and Xerxes I. Following the death of Alexander the Great, his generals divided his empire, leading to the Hellenistic period. This era saw the fusion of Greek culture with those of the East, under rulers like Ptolemy I in Egypt and Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom. The classical period was a defining era in human history, which laid the foundation for many aspects of modern society. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, grand empires rose and fell. In the Indian subcontinent, the Maurya Empire emerged around 322 BC under the leadership of Chandragupta Maurya. This empire, known for its military might, was one of the largest in Indian history. However, it was Chandragupta's grandson, Ashoka the Great, who left a lasting impression. Ashoka, after witnessing the horrors of war, embraced Buddhism and became a torchbearer of peace and harmony. Following the Maurya Empire, the Gupta Empire rose to prominence around 320 AD. Known as the Golden Age of India, this period witnessed advancements in science, technology, engineering, art, dialectic, literature, logic, mathematics, astronomy, religion, and philosophy. Rulers like Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, and Chandragupta II, also known as Vikramaditya, ruled the Gupta Empire, bringing prosperity and cultural development to the region. As we shift our focus to the east, we encounter the rise of the Chinese civilization. The Qin dynasty, established in 221 BC, was short-lived but significant. The first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, was a pivotal figure. He is credited with unifying China, initiating the construction of the Great Wall, and creating a centralized state. Following the Qin dynasty, the Han dynasty emerged in 206 BC and lasted till 220 AD. This period is often considered a golden age in Chinese history, characterized by significant advancements in science, technology, mathematics, and astronomy. Among the many rulers, Emperor Wu of Han and Emperor Guangwu were prominent figures, steering the dynasty towards prosperity and expansion. Thus, while the Mediterranean was witnessing constant changes, the Eastern world was carving its own unique path. As the world was in constant flux, a significant event was about to unfold. A new era was dawning, one that would shape the course of human history in unprecedented ways. We're talking about the rise of Christianity and the birth of Christ. In the heart of the Roman Empire during the reign of Augustus Caesar, a child was born in the small town of Bethlehem in Judea. This child, Jesus of Nazareth, would become the central figure of Christianity, a faith that would eventually spread across the globe. But let's set the scene first. Judea at the time was under the rule of Herod the Great, a client king of the Roman Empire. Herod, a man of great architectural ambition, had transformed the landscape of his kingdom with grand buildings and fortresses. Yet, his rule was marked by brutality and paranoia, often resorting to executions to maintain his grip on power. Meanwhile, in Rome, Augustus Caesar reigned supreme. Having emerged victorious from the chaos of the Roman civil wars, Augustus established an era of relative peace and stability known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. It was under his rule that the Roman Empire reached its peak in terms of territorial extent and prosperity, and it was during this time, under the reign of these two powerful figures, that Jesus was born. His teachings of love, forgiveness, and salvation would resonate with many, leading to the formation of a new religious movement. His followers, known as Christians, would face persecution, but their faith would endure and grow. Within a few centuries, Christianity would become the state religion of the Roman Empire, marking the end of classical paganism and heralding the start of a new religious and cultural era. The influence of Christianity would extend far beyond the borders of Rome, shaping societies, laws, arts, and philosophies across continents for centuries to come. The birth of Christ marked a significant turning point in world history, influencing the course of human civilization for millennia to come. So, that was quite a journey, wasn't it? We've covered a vast expanse of time, from the dawn of human history to the birth of Christ. We've trekked through the ages, witnessing the rise and fall of civilizations, the reigns of legendary rulers, and the pivotal moments that have shaped our world. We began our journey in the prehistoric era, from the Paleolithic period, where our ancestors first crafted tools, through the Mesolithic and Neolithic periods, marking the advent of agriculture and settled communities. We then ventured into the cradle of civilization with the Sumerians and their legendary king Gilgamesh. We marveled at the pyramids of Egypt, built under the rule of pharaohs like Khufu and Tutankhamun. We walked the streets of the mysterious cities of the Indus Valley and journeyed to the Far East, to the ancient dynasties of China under rulers like Tang of Shang and King Wu of Zhou. The classical period then beckoned us, with the intellectual prowess of ancient Greece under the leadership of figures like Pericles and Alexander the Great. We bore witness to the might of the Roman Republic and Empire under the guidance of Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar. Our journey continued through the Mediterranean and Near East, where we encountered the expansive Persian Empire under rulers like Cyrus the Great. We delved into the Hellenistic period, marking the spread of Greek culture across the conquered lands. We then journeyed to the Indian subcontinent, where we saw the rise and fall of the Maurya and Gupta empires under rulers like Ashoka the Great and Chandragupta II. Our journey in the East culminated in the ancient Chinese civilizations under the Qin and Han dynasties, with rulers like Qin Shi Huang and Emperor Wu of Han. Finally, we arrived at the pivotal moment of the birth of Christ, under the rule of Herod the Great and Augustus Caesar, marking the rise of Christianity. History is an intricate tapestry, and each thread adds to the richness of the story. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,